All right, good evening, everyone. It's another beautiful evening from Lagos, Nigeria. Oh, yes, so I still remain your humble host, Oluwashoko Helen Ayu Yenikon, your beautiful host with so many long names. All right, so this is to welcome everybody to the show. You're all welcome. Oh, yeah, it's nice having you all around. Yes, you're welcome once again. And yes, we are still on our relationship matters. We've been on this edition since last month. This makes it the second month. And today we'll be treating a topic that says red flags in relationships. All right, so do you have anything to tell us about red flags? So when we say red flags, what exactly do we mean? Does red flags means run for your life? Maybe when you notice some things, you just have to go? Or does it mean we need to sit down and talk things out? Does red flags also means that this issue, this relationship is a very dangerous one, and don't even try to talk about it? Or can we still talk about it? And when we talk about red flags, how long does it take to notice one? And could red flags be the same for everybody? Or there are some peculiarities when it comes to these red flags? Oh, yes. Talking about red flags in relationship. What exactly are we talking about? All right, so let me quickly welcome everyone here in the studio. Yes. I can see Olajide Olajumoke. Thank you for coming. I'm sorry, I have a name here. So I think your name is not well registered. You don't register well with Podbean, but I can see the E and the double H, the RFIQV. Thank you for joining in. All right, so tonight we'll be talking about red flags in relationship. Okay, yes, what do you have to tell us? If you have anything to say, please feel free to use the comment section. And if not, if you want to call in, please do so. Hear your view and let's get the show running. While some people believe red flags connotes deep or severe problem in relationships, others believe there is no problem that you cannot talk about. So some people believe no matter the situation, communication is key. And while some people will tell you not to even give it a trial, once you see this, you should run for your life. So talking about the red flags, what are these red flags? What are the signs or what are these things that would see that would connote that this relationship is dangerous? So what are the things that I would see that would actually want us to run for our dear lives and be like, oh, you know what? I think I've had enough of this. Okay, so we all know what red flag usually means on the norm. Let's say talking about sports or some other general things. So red on its own, red means stop. So red flags can easily connote, I think most times when it's used in sport, it also means just stop. Maybe either you're at the end of the game or it's dangerous over there. You just need to stop where you are. Yes. So when we talk about red flags in a relationship, does it really mean stop? Do we really mean to end it there? or there could also be a way around it. Maybe we need to talk about it. Maybe there are some things we just need to get in the way. Maybe we can address it. Maybe we can manage it. And also, is it very possible that we might not notice some red flags? You know, over time when there are issues in marriages, and maybe let's say this the woman is complaining, and then you hear people say, there would have been the red flags while you were dating, maybe you ignored it. So can it really be true? Can it really be like that all the time? Talk about red flags. Some people even believe we have more than one flag in relationship. It's not just about red. Some will tell you we have a yellow flag. With the yellow might mean a problem, but maybe not too severe. And why a red flag can mean a dead end. So yes, if you're here on the show and you want to air your view, please make use of the comment section or call in and air your view. Could red flag mean the same thing for everyone? Well, I'll say no. Why red flag for some people might be infidelity? Do you know some people might actually have a way of managing infidelity in their marriage? Oh yeah, so funny, but really that's how it is. So while some people will also say red flag can mean domestic violence, some people actually have a way of managing domestic violence. While red flags to some people might mean an obsessed kind of love, some people might have their own way of managing or addressing such issues. While some would tell you jealousy might be a sign of red flag, some others can have their way of managing it. So for me, I'd rather say, okay, it shouldn't be, or it can't even be the same for everyone. But of course, I'm not here to talk about how I feel. I'm here to listen to what you think. I'm here to listen to your own take about the situation. So when we talk about red flags in relationship, what exactly do we mean? What could be the possible red flags? How long will it take for you to notice a red flag in a relationship? And does red flags usually connote stop? It's a dead end. Or could red flag also means we can manage it, we can address it, we can talk about it? Alright, so if you're here in the studio and you want to air your view, please call in and let's talk. Or you drop your comments in the comment section. actually connotes a toxic relationship, or red flags could just possibly means a difference in values and our beliefs. So can we really manage red flags? Or when we see red flags, it just means stop, don't go ahead. So some people will also say, trust your guts, trust your instincts would never lie, this, that. So how does that come in when we see red flags? Also, is it not very possible for some people to be smart in playing their games that the partner would not even notice anything, not to talk of a red flag at all? Or let's say, could there really be some common kind of red flags? So like I said earlier, even if it's not the same for everyone, could it be that there would be some common things that you would see that will make you be like, you know what, babe, this relationship is toxic and you really need to take to your ears? Situation of pretense, how do you manage pretense alongside red flags? Some people can be so smart in playing their games that, all those things they talk about when you get married and you have issues and you want to talk about it, people will be like, there would have been the red flags while you were dating, maybe you ignored it, maybe you didn't notice it. Okay, who is here to tell us about how to notice red flags? What could red flags possibly mean in some relationships? So are there really things we actually notice? If I have some married people in the studio, I wouldn't mind. You can call in and air your view. So could there be some things you noticed while you were dating and you ignored, and possibly right now they are really causing issues? Okay, if they are, maybe that should be the red signs or red flags that people talk about. And if not, are people saying it to you now that it should have been some red flags while you were dating? Maybe you just ignored it, this, that. So was it that you really ignored it, or you never saw it coming at all? Some people believe love, especially for the women, people believe when we are in love, we don't see red flags. We are blind to red flags. So what happens exactly? Are we really blind? Do we really ignore? Or these people on the other side are actually very smart in playing this game? Could we possibly notice red flags? When we talk about red flags, you hear people say, if it's giving you attitude, if it's not picking your calls, if it's being too possessive, if it's being overprotective, if it's this, if it's being too jealous, or this or that. Everybody has their own definition for these red flags. So that's why I want you to call in and air your view. Let me know what your point is. Let me hear your view about red flags. So when we see red flags, do we really need to run for our lives, or we need to sit down and talk about it, discuss or ignore? So when we ignore, does it really have a vital role to play later in the future? Okay, so when we talk about it, does it also mean that we've helped the situation? All right, so once again, let me welcome everyone to the studio. Yes, my name is Oluwashoko Helen Ayoyenikon, talking to you live from Lagos, Nigeria. Yes, I want to welcome Olajide Olajumoke, Jason Cubs, you're welcome. Shade Aremi, you're welcome, sis. Thanks for joining. Adewusi Adetola Ojo, thank you, sis, for joining in. Daisy, you're welcome. Mudukwe, you're welcome. Thank you for joining. And I have another person with the alphabetical names. You're also welcome to the studio. All right, yes, today we are still on the topic red flags in relationship. So what do you think about red flags? What are red flags to you? How does it really affect relationship? So most times when people are in marriage, when they have issues, people talk about maybe they ignored it while they were dating. And even in relationship, before the breakfast is served, you understand what I'm saying? You hear things like, I would have been giving you some signs now, maybe you didn't notice. There would have always been a red flag. Maybe he wasn't picking your calls at some point. Maybe he has been acting weird and this and that. Okay, yeah, so this is my question. What are red flags? How do you notice red flags? How early can you really notice red flags? And when you see red flags, does it really mean stop? Does it really mean the relationship is dangerous and you should just run for your dear life? Or we can still manage and address it. So please, I'd love to hear from you. Call in to air your view, or you can drop your comments in the comment sections. So while some people think red flags indicates deep problem, some people believe red flags could mean a case of domestic violence. It could be a case of infidelity. Maybe when your partner is cheating unapologetically. You know, there are some people like that. They don't see it as a wrong thing. And while some also believe if you have a partner while some also believe if you have a partner that doesn't want to hear your view, maybe your partner is all about himself, he just wants to talk about, he just wants to have his own way or a way all the time. Some also believe these are red flags. So what are red flags to you? And if this could be possible red flags, does it really mean that should be the end of the relationship? You know, when we talk about red flag, we are actually saying stop. Okay, so could it be stop and have a rethink, or stop and let us talk about this? Let's address it. Or it is talk, take a U-turn and run for your life. Some relationship can have the best of their times, the best of their years together in the early years. And while everything is going on well and rosy, so many things might possibly be ignored. So what are those things that we shouldn't ignore? You know, when they talk about love forgives, love bears all things, love endures things and all that. So what exactly are these things that we don't really need to ignore in relationship? Because you know, at times when things happen and they be like, I it would have happened before, maybe before you guys got married and you ignored. So are there things we don't really need to ignore to what extent are these things that we should ignore or should not ignore? Yes, please, I have a handful of you in the studio. Let the comment section be booming. Or you put a call through, please. I want to hear from you. Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good to have
Sorry.
you. No
Same
problem.
here.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Okay, thank you. So talking about red flag
Yes,
in
yes, yes.
relation.
Okay.
So I think red flag is or are things that are, will I say, dangerous, or like a danger, like seeing a danger.
Okay.
That's a red flag when you're seeing something that this could probably lead to like a very dangerous situation maybe later in the future. And I think during the courtship, though there are some people that pretend,
Okay.
yeah, there are. And at the same time, there are still some people that don't pretend. It's just that maybe the love was just intoxicating us. So you might probably not see the red flag, or maybe you will see, you will just ignore. Is you won't really term it as
A
red
big
flag.
deal.
But when a big deal. But when you are now deep into it, that's when you now understand that this thing is. So managing the red flag now, it depends on the individual.
Okay.
Do you know that there are relationships that a lady will know that this guy is not even slapping,
Okay.
he's beating. In a relationship, we're not married. Relationship, like they are in a relationship, and you see that this guy he's not even slapping you, he's beating you. Do you know that they still go ahead to marry that kind of a person? Now, for me, it is a red flag. Now, I wouldn't know, maybe for the lady, maybe she didn't see it as a red flag. So now imagine an individual, like a person now seeing this thing that, this person is already treating me like this. We're not yet married. What if we're married? So managing red flag now depends on the individual. It is what you want for yourself now. That's what you will get. So if you think truly within your mind that this is a red flag and I cannot manage, I cannot deal with it, then you do what? You run. But some ladies, or will I say, though it's both parties anyways, because there are still red flag that a guy will see in some ladies, you understand? So it's still boils back to both of them. So it now depends on the individual now. If you think this is a red flag, can I cope with this? Can I manage it? When there's a domestic violence, or not even domestic violence, issues or things that we figure out as being red flag, some people will want to like ask, this person, didn't you see it when you were dating?
Yeah.
Some people answer you that they saw it. So the question will now be, so why do you now go into it? You understand? So the question will now be, so you see it from the beginning that this is a red flag, so why going into it?
Okay, so it's
I think
sorry to cut you now. So it's possible you notice a red flag and still
yes,
go ahead.
very possible, very, 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 very possible. Even though there are some cases that it will be maybe the guy or the lady is pretending. So at the long run, they might tell you that they never saw this coming, they never see this in his behavior or in her behavior. And that one is a different issue. You never saw it. It's different from you seeing the red flag like this. You are seeing it like this every day, that this thing is a red flag. And you still went ahead.
Okay, now, a quick one now. Is it possible that these red flags we're talking about, is it possible that we have a common one, or should I say, could it be the same for everybody?
It's not
I can't hear you well.
It won't be the same. A particular spouse might be the red flag she's saying might be domestic violence. This other one might be saying emotional violence. That other one might be saying infidelity. The other one might be saying, you understand? So it's not that this. So each relationship might see it as. The only thing I'm trying to think about now is it that it's all the red flag that one has to run away from?
Okay, good. I love
Okay,
that.
good.
I think I asked you the
Is it
exact
all the
question
red
when I
flags that you
started.
run away from?
So when
So
we
for
even
me,
talk about these red flags now, so because I was made to understand that red flag most times, you know what red means. It means stop and the likes. So when we're
yes,
talking about
yes,
red
things
flags
like
now,
things
so are we now talking about relationships that, okay, seeing this sign means we can't go further, or these red
mm-hmm.
flags could still mean let us talk about it?
Mm.
Do you get it now?
Yeah,
So is it
yeah.
is it that there will be, it will vary? Maybe the individual now needs to check your strength.
Exactly what you can cope with.
Hmm.
You understand what you can cope with. So it depends. That was why I say it still depends. It still boils back to the individual. I cannot like someone that a guy is already beating you and you are married to him. Someone like me for beer, ordinary slap said me I don't run. I cannot. It's true. So you can imagine someone else now can now tell you that they can cope with it or they can manage it. You can imagine. So
Wow.
that was why I said it still goes back to the person.
And I
So
think
it's not
that is very
individual.
right. I saw a flyer lately about someone that wants to train women on how to cope with a cheating partner.
Mm-hmm.
It sounded very funny when I saw it. She wants to train she wants to train other
Hello,
women. Can you hear me?
network.
Uh-oh. Hello?
Yes, it's
Hello? Can you hear me now?
the network is bad.
I hope it's not my network. Can you
Hello,
hear me well? Hello?
hello.
Can you hear me well?
The network is bad. I can't hear you. Okay, okay. I can I can hear you now. Hello,
Hello?
hello.
Okay, people, please, if I'm audible enough, can I get a comment in the comment section, please? I want to know if it's my network or it's the network at Mudukwe's side. Please, if you can hear me, I would like you to drop a comment in the comment section. Okay, network, right? Oh. Okay, please, how about now? How is it now? Can you hear me well now? Or it's breaking? Please let me know if you can hear me well. Oh, okay, okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right, so I was about to say a story before Modupe's line went off. So I saw a flyer lately of a woman that is trying to I think it's a training. She called herself a relationship, I think, specialist or something. So, and the relationship is training women on how to deal with a cheating partner. Okay, so personally for me it was very funny. And in fact, I think from where I got that from, the lady also wrote, why do I need to waste my money when I can easily run, like when I can easily leave the guy? So back to what she was trying to talk about, how some people can manage some red flags. So while some people will see infidelity as nothing, another person can see it as a big deal. So most times I think these red flags has to do with individual, but the point should just be, I think we really need to understand ourselves, knowing your values. I think that speaks volume when we want to talk about red flags. Oriel Fesha, please call in again. I lost your call the other time. So if possible that this red flag thing differs from one person to another, so I think everything should boil down to our values. Maybe the things that make sense to you. Yes. So if some things make sense to you and it's not making sense to the other person, okay, so I think from there we need to start observing that there will be a problem somewhere. Maybe somehow in the future there will definitely be an issue somewhere. So I think it should boil down to what matters to us. I think it should boil down to our values. Because when we talk about these red flags, why some people don't see some things. Now, it's just like what Madame Odupe said. It's easier for some people to tell you they never saw it. Because let's say maybe the partner is so good at pretense. And some people still have this strong belief that there's no how somebody will pretend, you still know. But I think to an extent, it's still possible for some people to pretend. I think some people are so good. It's more like a craft. Some are so crafty that they might end up pretending that the other partner might not get to know. So, but when you see this, when you notice it, I think it should boil down to what matters to us. So, what matters to you as an individual will mean if this thing, if it should actually mean a total stop, if you really need to stop or you really need to go ahead. So when we talk about red flags, why some people said, so I think I saw this lately that there's also yellow flag. So red flag means intense problem. Yeah, you get. Red flag means a deep problem. Okay, so when it turns red, that means, hey, it's a dead end. So some people will tell you they are yellow flags too. So yellow flags are issues that you observe, but you can still talk about it. Yes, OJ28, danger, you understand? So some people believe once it turns red, okay, it's danger. Like, don't even try to talk about it. And some will just tell you if it's a yellow flag, you can still manage. But when it turns red, then you run for your life. So when it turns red, what exactly are we talking about? Yes, so if you're still on the show, let me have your view. The comment section is for you. Please type in, and if you want to call in, please call and let me hear your view. What do you think about red flags? So, what are red flags to you? Now, individually, now, what do you think red flags are? So, are red flags reasons why a relationship should come to an end? Or does it mean that we need to adjust? Well, we need to talk about some things and see how we can forge ahead? Okay, so another thing we've not talked about, let's talk about how long does it take to notice a red flag? How long does it really take? Now, when you start a relationship, when you're into a relationship, just does it come easy to notice a red flag? And when you notice it, do you quit instantly or you still hold on to see what happens? I believe another red flag. Okay, now we've been talking about how it is to one person and another. So personally, I think a temperament issue, it's also a red flag. if a lady or a man cannot or don't have control over their anger, I think it's also a very big one. But of course, like we said earlier, it's also easy for some other people to manage. All right, so if adjustment doesn't work out, then one should just opt out. Thank you very much, Olajide Olajumoke. Yes. So she said if adjustment is not working out, you just need to opt out. So that means when you see those red flags, you can still try to see if there are things we need to work around. So let's see if there's a little adjustment we can do around the corners. And if it's not working, take to your ears. Some people will also talk about trusting your instincts. You know that those words, right? Trust your guts, trust your instincts. So how does it really work with red flags? Okay, so let's say for instance you've noticed a red flag and your instinct is still telling you it's nothing. You can work around it. So is it possible to also listen to that? Or maybe the red flag you notice is nothing. Let's say I'm trying to create a scenario now. So let me say for instance, the red flag is maybe you're out on a date, yeah, on a dinner night, and right there maybe the waiter did something very bad. Maybe he didn't serve the right portion of food or something. Let's just assume the waiter did something very wrong, and instantly he got angry and hit the waiter. So could that be a red flag? It is not directly to you, someone else. So could that be a red flag? And if it is a red flag, so while some people will tell you, after all, he didn't do it to you now, it shouldn't be a red flag. When your instinct is telling you if this person can do this, so definitely he might do it to me someday. So which would you go for? Your instincts, or since he didn't do it to me, he might not really mean he just got angry. So Ojo28 says yes, short temper. Olajumoke says big one. From there, the proposed partner should know is an aggressive person. All right, I have Adewusi on the call. I've accepted your call, please. Okay, so Olajumoke says big one. From there, the proposed partner should know is an aggressive person. Okay. Ojo28 says short tempered while trying to impress his exactly now. Thank you, Adebisi Adetola. You're welcome, sis.
Good evening.
Evening. Good to have you.
Yeah, thank you. Ẹ kú iṣẹ́ Olúwa náà.
Thank you.
So I just want to join. I just want to chip in few of my idea and let me say, but I can't say experience per se,
Okay.
but I just want to chip in a little or one point concerning the red flag.
Okay.
Now, when we say red flag, we all know that it's danger, 100%. And when it comes to time of relationship, and you observe there's red flag, I believe the best thing is to run for your dear life. I don't see a reason why you notice that this is red flag and you decide to manage it. Eventually, when you get into it and you are facing one challenge or the other, then you now say, and I saw it too, and I saw it too, more than you, and more than now, how do you want to do it? A broken relationship, they say, is better than a broken marriage.
Yeah.
When such flag occurs in your relationship, is very good for you. It's a good thing you saw it, and it's a good thing you take action. But if it is a marriage that I saw a red flag, My dear sister, I don't know how you want to do it. It will need God's intervention and a lot of counseling for you to overcome it in a marriage.
Exactly.
But in a relationship, it is you yourself that will have to deal with it. This is not enough. I need to cast and bind. Prayer will work it out. No. Because whatever you see in a relationship, you definitely find it and see it in a marriage. Let me take, for example, you have a husband that has anger issue.
Yes.
And that husband has anger issue in your relationship, you notice him, but whenever there's issue, you both fight it, and eventually later on he comes back to his sense and apologize, then you both move on. My dear sir, you notice all you're supposed to do is, so far, if you cannot cope, those some people can cope. Elomi Yabara manage. You understand? If you can cope, it's so well and good. But mind you, when you cope with such relationship, and every day you have issues, maybe you have 100% of love, for the person. Believe me, with that kind of issue, that love is diminishing. It is coming down gradually. Because every day when you keep fighting on one issue or the other, there's no peace. So what is the point?
That's the point, sir.
You don't have to force yourself for a relationship where you know that you can't manage it. Because in marriage is something you cannot graduate from, except if you want to go out from it. Yorùbá ìyàwó lọ́pẹ́ àbí ìyàwó Yorùbá máa sọ pé ìyàwó jẹ́ ìyà kó wá wò ó bóyá rí ọ̀rọ̀ tó ṣe ìyà tó wá wò yẹn o ò lè kúrò níbẹ̀ ibẹ̀ ló máa gbé. Do you understand? So you saw red flag in a relationship, tackle that red flag you are seeing and move, don't say move. But if there is yellow there's hope. Understand? You can fashion the issue out and sort things out. If it works, then you do observation. Then within that observation, if you notice this thing does not change, definitely there is no way for then you don't have to move forward. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So I believe with a little of my own contribution, I've been able to get something. So that's my own point.
Thank you so much, ma'am. God bless you.
You're
Your points are valid. Thank you so much.
Amen. You're welcome, man. Thank you.
All right. Yes. Thank you so much, everyone. Yes, that was a good point from Adeusi Aditola. All right. Yes. So back to my comments. Olajide Olajumoke says, big one. From there, the proposed partner should know he's an aggressive person. Yeah. So J28 says, short-tempered while trying to impress his lady. Yeah. That's it. Try to impress the lady now. So you might not really mean it that way. Okay. It doesn't have to be you in particular. That's from Olajide. Julian says exactly. So Olajide says some people actually needed a helping hand to become a better person. Okay. For instance, someone who grew up in a home where his father maltreat his mom might actually felt that is the best way to treat a woman. You're so right. But if the other partner try changing the order and it's not yielding positive results, they should go their separate ways. Yes, thank you very much, Olajide. That's also a very good point there. Yeah, there are some people that grow up in a very toxic environment, so they don't really know what love is. Yes, let's be sincere to ourselves. Some people grow up in a very toxic environment. They've never been shown true love. They don't know what love is. So what they see people display before them is what they think love is. And helping those kind of people, for me, I think is not a you thing. It's not just a one-on-one kind of a thing. Those kind of a person, they need special help, more like seeing a therapist, maybe seeing a counselor, and possibly prayers also. So I think it is not something you definitely want to just um, start to work on, and instantly you are seeing the results. So whoever wants to help someone like that, either a lady that wants to help a man in such situation, or a man that wants to help a lady in that situation, you've already accepted that this is more like um, a mission for you. Yeah, so you need to see like this is a mission you want to go ahead with. So, and you can't go into that mission alone. You need to take along a therapist, maybe a counselor, and possibly also, which I won't say is the last, it definitely should be the first, which is God. So even if you want to help such person, it shouldn't be just you and the person, and it won't be a day job. So just like we are talking about people adjusting and coping with some red flags, if you really want to go into this type of a relationship, you know the person is from a toxic background, then you really need to be patient. A whole lot of patience needs to be involved here. All right, so good point from Adetola Adeusi. Yes, so she was talking about, we all know that red means stop. So if you see red, you should just run for your dear life instead of trying to manage it. Yes, because there are some things that, as you've noticed it in relationship and you feel it's nothing, by the time you get into the real deal, yeah, that's when you know there's fire on the mountain and you need to run, 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 run. Thank you so much, Adeusi. God bless you. Yeah, so talking about red flags in relationship, I think, like we've been saying, to some people it's easy to adjust, it's easy to manage, it's easy to address, while some people will tell you, for this, I don't think I need to manage it. I really need to take to my ears. All right, so thank you so much, everyone. Let me quickly do a run through. I had so many people in the studio like a few minutes back, so I think the network had dropped some people off the line. Nevertheless, let me quickly see some people that have not welcomed yet. OJ28, you're always welcome. You're welcome. Thanks for joining. MK, yeah, Boma Christiana, you're welcome. Okay, Oriel Fesha, thanks for joining always, sis. But I'm yet to hear your view. I've not heard you speak. So Iyola Femi, thank you for joining. Tulian, thank you for joining. Who else? Pius Khan, thank you. Comfort Arthur, you're welcome. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. Yes, thank you so much, everyone. I think the network is a little bit terrible. The network is very, very terrible. Ojola Jide, you're welcome. He says, sorry, I'm late. No problem. You're welcome. Yes, thank you so much, everybody, for being part of the show. And yes, today we've talked about red flags. What exactly are red flags and what do red flag means most times? We all know red flag, as it connotes, means stop. Red means danger. Don't go ahead. There's danger ahead of you. Just stop. So, and most times when we talk about red flags in relationship, we're also talking about um, things that should be like a pullback, things that should be like, that should give us a stop so that we could know that where we are going is dangerous. So red flags are those things we just need to observe, those things we need to put into consideration if we really want to enjoy a life after that relationship. You really want to enjoy the marriage. And so most times, like we've said earlier, some people always find a way around managing some red flags. But this is what I would like to leave you with. If it's a red flag that is life threatening, dear sis or dear brother, I think it would be wise if you can actually run for your dear life. Well, that's the sad truth, but that is just how it is. So if it's actually a red flag that you know that this thing, it will really cost you a lot if you want to go ahead with it, I think it is very, very advisable for you to take to your heels. And I think there are some things we might not really need to manage. Now, for instance, if you know someone is from a toxic relationship or a toxic background, that situation is not just for you alone to deal. It is for you. It's not as if you won't be into it to help the person. But when I mean it's not for you to deal, is you are not the only person that would help this person out of it. There's a need for a therapist. There's a need for God to step in, and also a need for a counselor. So if you see somebody that is from a toxic background and you feel, I think I love this person and I'll be ready to make sure this person becomes his or a better version of herself, then I think you need to put in more work. So it's not just about the short period of time now. You might also need to see a future time. So when you see it as a work, you see it as a mission, you see it as something you really want to do. You see it as something you really want to step in without looking back. Yes. And lastly, I also want to say this. There's what we call values. We all have our personal values. And I think those personal values are things we really need to look into keenly. When you talk about your personal values, you're talking about the things that make up for you, the things that make you, the things that are important to you. And one thing is, what is important to you and makes sense to you might not make sense to the other person. So most times, I think when we know what our values are, going into relationships to notice what red flags are, it would not be an issue. Because most times, these red flags, like most people say, is not as if we don't see them, but because at those points we might not see it as an issue, possibly because we are yet to even understand what our values are. We are yet to understand what we really want to live for. But by the time we understand our values and we set them right, when you are into a relationship and you notice some red flags, it will be easy for you to decide either you want to stay or you go out. And it will also be easy for you to quickly notice those red signs. Now, for instance, you are someone that loves, okay, let me say you are someone that loves God and you take God as a priority, and you're into a relationship with someone that does not want to hear about God or that does not see God as important as you do. Of course, you know that when you go into relationship with this person and eventually get married, that very thing will be an issue. So while you are all around jumping from pole to post doing things for God, maybe you're winning souls or you're doing some church works and some activities, this other person might really be pulling you back. Why? Because he doesn't really understand it and he doesn't like it in the first place. So your values are colliding. Your values are not, you don't have the same value. Your value are not same. They are parallel to each other. So I think most times red flags would be easy to notice if we have our own values, if we are able to set our values right, if we have our personal values. So it would be easy for you to know. You are a career person, you are the academic type, you love school, you love reading, you love you love attaining so many things. You're just a career person, you love your ambitions, you have a lot of ambitions right in front of you. You cannot marry someone that doesn't see sense in what you're doing. Because by the time you're trying to run around, get a certificate, get things done, get a job here, get a job there, the other party will be pulling you back. Why? He or she is not seeing sense in what you're doing. So I believe when we want to go into relationships, these are the things we need to look out for. We need to set our own personal values right. When we get our personal values right, it will be easy for us to know, to observe, to notice the red flags in the relationship. And it will also be easy for us to ask ourselves if we are willing to go ahead or take a U-turn. And lastly, as I always say, you cannot do anything without God. Yes, I am saying it frantically. You can't do anything without God. God should be your number one. So while you're going ahead with God, while God goes ahead of you and you're moving right behind Him, every other thing will fall in place. So there is little or nothing that we can do without God. And also, even in your marriage, if you're here and maybe there are some things that you're seeing in your marriage and you're already regretting, oh, this thing shouldn't be like this. I would have been smarter. I would have been this or that. Hey, sis, hey, brother, you just have to also call on God. You know why? It's not marriage. You can't run out of it. But all you need to do is not tell God. Ask God to come to your aid. Yes, you are ignorant. You are naive. Or maybe you even take the decision without asking Him to take you through. So this time around that you understand better, go back to Him. And God, our God is a merciful God. He's always ready to listen to us whenever we cry to Him. He's always here. He's always right beside you. So all you need to do is just call on God. And of course, He will be there to help you. He is the only one that can bring peace into a stormy situation. So go ahead and call God into that situation. Oh yes, and lastly, that is a wrap on tonight's show. Oh yeah, thank you so much everybody for being part of today's show. It's a great pleasure to have you all around. And this is to say thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you once again everyone for being part of this show. If you're not here, I won't be here. So you're here. I'm here because you're here. Thank you so much everybody. I really appreciate this and I am not taking it for granted. Yes, this is your humble host Oluwasegun Helen Ayeyenikon. Your beautiful host with so many long names. Alright, so let us do it again, same time next week. And when you're coming, please spread the good news. Don't come alone. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all. Thank you. God bless you. Signing out, Helen Shugo. I love you all.